Auzubillahiminashaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Class 10 students of Boys High School बदर आज 13 अगस्त 2020 एक बार फिर सब्जेक्ट साइंस पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. And today our topic is Newlands law of octaves. As you know, we are nowadays going to know about the classification of the elements, and today classification of elements. In classification of elements, we are going to know more about the classification of the elements. As you all know, yesterday we learned that in 1800, first of all, the chemist Anthony Lavoisier classified the elements on the basis of metals and non-metals, and at that time only 30 elements were known. When he goes on classifying the objects, he failed in his classification of the elements, as there were some elements who were neither metals nor non-metals. They are known as metalloids. After that, in 1817, one more chemist, that is John Wolfgang Daubeney, tried to classify the objects. He made triads, that is groups of 3 elements with similar properties, and while classifying the objects on the basis of these triads, he goes on putting the elements into triads, but he could not put all the elements into triads, as the properties of the elements were not similar, and failed in his classification of the elements. And after that, in 1866, John Alexander Newland, a chemist, tried to arrange the elements in order of their increasing atomic masses. He started to classify the elements at that time, and the number of the elements at that time were 56. He started with the elements having lowest atomic masses, and started with the element that is hydrogen having the lowest atomic mass, and ended at thorium, which was the 56th element known at that time. If the elements are arranged in order of their increasing atomic masses, every 8th element, according to him, had similar properties to the first one. He tried to arrange the elements according to the note of the musical scale, that is from 1st to 8th. He tried to classify the elements, and every 8th element, according to the note of the musical scale, was having the similar physical and chemical properties. He made 7 columns of the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 according to the musical scale. According to the musical scale, that is sa re ga ma pa da ni, or do re mi fa sol la ti. And according to this musical scale, he first of all kept hydrogen, and number 2 lithium, and number 3 beryllium, number 4 boron, number 5 carbon, and number 6 nitrogen, and number 7 oxygen. After that, he came once again at serial number 1st with fluorine and sodium, after that magnesium, after that aluminium, after that silicon, and potassium, sulfur. According to Newland, every 8th element had similar physical and chemical properties. With the help of this, the musical scale, but there were some limitations in his classification of the elements. What was those limitations? Now first, after calcium, every eighth element did not possess properties that of the first. It was the first limitation of his classification of the elements. Number two, noble gases did not keep the same pattern. They made difference in the physical and the chemical properties of the elements, and this classification of the elements was found futile. Third limitation of the John Alexander Newlands classification of the elements was that after 56 elements, more elements were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of the octaves. Number 4, cobalt and nickel at that time were put in the same slot. This was also a limitation to this classification of the elements. And last, number 5, iron was far away from the similar elements. So the law of the octaves made by John Alexander Newland in 1866 failed, and after that there came another chemists who tried to classify the objects, and tomorrow we will know about it more. Thanks.